Hello and welcome to the House of Commentary. Today we're going to be discussing the final two games of the World Cup from Qatar 2022. With me is Stats.
Hello, everyone.
We had a fantastic weekend watching these games, and I think the summary that we're going to give really will only just touch on how really great some of these games were, or both these games were, in particular the final, which many consider to be one of the greatest finals of all time. So, to take us through how we got to the to this stage of third and fourth place, and obviously the final, Stats is going to give us a quick summary, and then we'll discuss it in further detail. Over to Stats.
Yep, so obviously with the first semi-finals, Argentina versus Croatia, and I think for this match, everybody knew that Argentina were going to win it.
Yeah, that's right. And the other thing, obviously, is that not only were they strong favourites, but I think the world wanted Messi to win.
I agree, especially with it being his last World Cup.
That's right. He announced that this would be his last World Cup. In fact, I think he said he was going to retire.
Yeah.
And obviously, we now know differently. But at the time, I think he was genuine in saying he was going to retire. I actually think there might have been a part of him that was thinking maybe this will be not just his last World Cup, but I don't think he was as confident about going into this match as some people might have thought. But anyway, how did France and Argentina do in the semi-finals with Croatia and Morocco?
So obviously with the Argentina and Croatia match, Argentina took complete control of the game, beating them 3-0.
That's right. Yes, the Argentina-Croatia was the first semi-final, and Argentina won 3-0, which was a great game. The incredible thing about this game was that Argentina really went for it, didn't they?
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think they're looking for redemption from Brazil 2014 when they lost to Germany.
That's right. I mean, they were really going for it.
And the funny thing is, of all the players out there, Di Maria was the only one from that team.
Yeah, really. No, Messi was there as well. He was there, but the strange thing was Di Maria didn't actually play in that final. He was on the subs bench, but he didn't actually play. But yeah, Argentina-Croatia, Messi was excellent, really.
I mean, he was on fire the whole game.
He was really, really good. And he scored a penalty quite early on, about halfway through the second half, almost halfway through. And then that was followed by Alvarez scoring a great goal, I thought. And then in the second half, Alvarez scored a third goal. So Croatia were quite
muted, I think.
No, what they were saying, what I think it was about to say was that Argentina just looked great in that game. They looked really good, really strong.
Yeah, and also I did notice something with the semi-final games. The whole entire stadium was packed.
Yeah, the Argentina fans throughout the World Cup have been amazing, and I think that one of the great things about the Argentine fans is that they come early. They really create a brilliant excitement into the game before the game's even started. They're then cheering throughout the game, and they're still there afterwards for ages, cheering, which is absolutely incredible. Not many of the fans who were attending the World Cup were actually doing that. Obviously, they had a lot to cheer about, and a 3-0 win over Croatia in the semi-finals. I mean, that was fantastic. Yeah. I don't think anybody expected it to be 3-0. I think people were thinking maybe 1-0 or 2-0.
Yeah.
And Croatia just seemed to run out of speed. It was really strange. It was really. They had plenty of opportunity. They had a lot of possession, but they just couldn't seem to get a shot on target.
Yeah, no. Also, I think they also struggled to actually pass the ball because I noticed in that game, whenever they had the ball, the Argentinians were on them just like within a blink of a second.
Exactly. The Argentinians would just seem to be ahead all the time, and they were really going for it. In fact, one of the great players throughout the tournament, really, but McAllister was really good. I mean, I thought McAllister was excellent. And it's amazing to think that one of the top players in the World Cup plays for Brighton.
That's true.
It is really, really... it made me feel quite good, actually. But yeah, that was a great game. Obviously, the Argentinians loved it. One of the other things why that I liked about the game at the end was that how there's this song that the Argentinians
Oh
are singing,
yeah.
and the Messi was actually leading them, wasn't he,
Yeah.
in the singing of the song, and all these thousands of fans being led by Messi and singing the song. I thought it was fantastic. As for Croatia, I mean, Modric is still a fantastic player. It's quite strange. I think he was one of the oldest players, if not the oldest player on the pitch. But he seemed to be running and running and running and running. He had more energy
Then this team
than the rest of the
combined.
blooming team. Yeah, it's really, really weird. But he was fantastic. I thought he was really, really good. But Argentina, actually,
Got the best of France.
They deserved to
Not
beat
France, sorry,
Croatia.
Croatia.
Croatia,
Yeah.
yeah. And then in the other semi-final, it was.
France, Morocco.
What happened there?
Well, with this match, I actually thought Morocco were gonna win it
Really?
because when was the last time an African nation got through to the World Cup?
It's the first time ever, and they've done very well. And again, this is a very strange game. France remarkably were up within 5 minutes and ended scoring, but then. Usually you would expect France to then really start scoring lots of goals, but that's not what happened. France suddenly became subdued, and Morocco seemed to be able to control the game, and they had lots of possession.
Yeah, and the thing is, I actually thought Morocco was actually going to score at least one goal during this game.
Yeah, the problem with Morocco is they don't have any good strikers, and they just could not hit the target. They just couldn't actually find that last piece of the puzzle that allows them to really win a game. And it's unfortunate because
they've done so well.
Yeah, they've done so well to get there. Having said that, when you actually think about it, they didn't score many goals in the tournament anyway.
Yeah.
So they're all going to struggle to score against France.
Yeah, but there's one thing I noticed about this game and some other games also in the tournament. There seems to be a lot of players who try to hit the ball and then miss it. I mean, we read of like short crossbar hits, hitting the ball hitting the post.
Yeah, I mean the ball. They're saying this new ball is faster than most other footballs. It's the fastest ball. It bends and all that kind of stuff. And they're always trying to improve the ball. But I think that the strange thing about the Moroccans is that some of them the shots were wayward. They went all over the place. Others didn't really trouble Lloris, the French goalkeeper and captain. Yeah, so Lloris hardly was troubled. I don't remember him being troubled significantly. And the French were just too strong.
Yes, they were.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a weird kind of thing happened. It had to wait, about 3-4 days for the final and the third and fourth match on the Saturday. And slowly, it really started to, in terms of excitement, it started to go up, didn't it? And then Saturday came, and it was Croatia versus Morocco. And I think a lot of people thought Morocco were going to win that game.
I was actually one of them as well.
You wanted them to win, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think because they were very hard to beat. It wasn't that France beat them easily, because France, even though they beat them 2-0, it looks like 2-0. They must have been easy. But the last goal came towards the end of the end of the game. So for a long period, Morocco were really doing well. Problem was they couldn't score. I mean, that was their biggest problem. So in this game, you had two teams that both were struggling to score goals, really. And it was really going to take a good performance from one person, I think. And I think that's actually what happened. Modric was excellent in the game.
And Ziyech as well.
Yeah, and Ziyech for Morocco was very good as well. So I thought it was an excellent game. It wasn't boring or anything. And both teams were trying to really go for it. And Morocco, I think, were really going for it. But Morocco's problem was they just could not hit the blooming target. I mean,
also, I think one of Morocco's main issues is they don't have an actual striker to actually.
Yeah, I mean, the person who was in that position probably thinks himself as a great striker, but actually was very poor. And I don't know, it's just really, really unfortunate that they seem to have been really good up until the moment of trying to score a goal. I mean, there were some close moments, but I think in the end of the day, when you think about the goals, I mean, it was a 2-1 victory to Croatia. The goals all happened in the first half, but the goals were excellent. And the Croatian goals, the first one was a fantastic one, where from a corner they sort of did this One person headed to another person who scored, and that was a great goal. But that second goal that they scored was absolutely sublime, a fantastic goal. And I think Croatia deserved to win the bronze medal.
Yeah. And also, I'm actually glad I didn't go to penalties because in the last few games, majority of them have seemed to go
Yeah,
extra time in penalties.
Yeah, the quarterfinals are a good example of that, isn't it? But you know, it just is what it is. But I think the strange thing is that the final happened on the Sunday. The Saturday was a good match that I think people enjoyed, but wasn't necessarily the greatest match of all time. But it was an enjoyable match, and I think it helped build up the excitement for the final itself. And when the final, there was such it seemed to be getting more exciting and exciting and exciting. The build-up was so good that when the match started, you think, "Oh God, is it going to be one of those matches that's going to be boring?" And we're going to be sitting there thinking, "Oh God, when are we going to see some action?"
Yeah.
But it was exactly the opposite, wasn't it?
Oh, I agree. And also with this game, it was actually great to see Sergio Aguero there supporting Argentinians.
That's right. I mean, one of the things that we learnt was that Aguero, obviously a very, very close friend of Messi, throughout the World Cup campaign, or certainly the last couple of weeks or 3 weeks of the campaign, he'd actually been Messi's roommate.
Oh, wow.
So normally the squad, you actually share a room with one of your squad members. But no, Messi shared it with Aguero, who obviously is a hero to a lot of people, not just Argentinians.
But with Man City as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fantastic player. And it was great to see him and other players there as well, from the previous. And I think that there was just a genuine love about the whole thing that was lovely about the Argentinian side. Whereas I think the France team, I got the impression there was a bit of arrogance. I thought
I agree as
they
well.
just generally thought they were going to win. And
because they think if they could win it one time, then
yeah, they're going for the third win. In fact, that was the other great thing about this final. Whoever won was going to be a 3-time holder of the World Cup. But it was really weird. I don't know if you remember, but the president of Argentina, or the prime minister, he wasn't actually at the final, even though he was invited. He didn't go because he thought he might bring bad luck.
Oh,
Macron turned up. And I'll tell you something, I just, every time they showed Macron, I thought, you know what? He's going to bring some bad luck to his team. And maybe he did, maybe he didn't, I don't know. But it seemed really strange. He wanted his photo opportunities with the players afterwards as well. So anyway, the match started off in a quite strange way because France seemed to be really slow, wasn't it? And
Argentina was all over them.
Yeah, I mean, Messi was on form. Di Maria was fantastic. And this is a guy
who hasn't scored the whole entire tournament.
Yeah, he hadn't even played. Yeah, he just only played about a total of 9 minutes. He was actually injured at the beginning. And it was quite a surprise to see him actually in the first 11. But he was fantastic. And he just couldn't be stopped by the French. And within very quickly, Argentina were 2 goals up. One from a penalty that Messi took, and then there was a great goal that Di Maria scored. And that looked really good. And it looked like, okay, Argentina have won this game.
Yes.
But one of the things that I thought was really remarkable, and I think this is why people get upset with Gareth Southgate, the French manager Deschamps didn't wait until the end of the second half to make his substitutions. He made some big substitutions just 10 minutes before the end of the first half.
Yeah, I was quite surprised when he took Giroud off because I thought he was going to stay on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he took off the leading goal scorer of France, and he took off another player, and he just made it a more attacking side. With and they've still got a second half to play, and that really surprised me. I think it surprised a lot of people, but it was a really good substitution, I think, because it meant that the French suddenly started playing the game and getting more aggressive. He also took advantage of the fact that he knew there was going to be like 5 or 10 minutes of extra time, which I think was 8 minutes extra time in the end. So the 10 minutes from the end became like almost 18. But that meant the French finished the second half really strongly, and they came out, and they were all of a sudden it was like they were really going for it. And then, again, it became subdued. And then, the Argentinians weathered a lot of pressure. They're still 2-0 up, and it was almost as though
They got this in their hands.
Yeah, they decided we've won the World Cup and we're just going to see out the second half, and it was working. It was actually working
until they substituted Di Maria off.
Yeah, when Di Maria came off, it made it very hard for
Argentina to score.
Argentina replaced him with Acuna, and basically the guy, he's not a bad football player, but he's no Di Maria, and he wasn't able to really put pressure on the fullback of France in the same way that Di Maria had. But one of the things that then happened was that Argentina seemed to be happy just to hold the ball and have whether the attacks from French forwards. Then Deschamps actually put on a couple of more forwards, and so it became like although he was playing 4-4-2, he had effectively 5 forwards on the pitch, which is incredible. And they really went for it. And then the weird thing is, Argentina seemed to get in control again. And then the most stupid penalty was given away by Otamendi. The guy didn't need to do what he did.
No, I remember the commentators are saying that he just had to let the ball go, and
he just had to let the guy run. He had to let the guy run. There was no real danger. He could have let the guy run, but he didn't. And then he fouled him, gave a penalty away,
and obviously Mbappe scored.
Yeah, it was a great penalty. And all of a sudden, the French were fired up in a way that we hadn't seen in the whole match. And then a minute or 2 minutes later,
bang, he scored again.
Mbappe scores a fantastic goal. Basically, it's a great team goal, and he took a shot with his right foot first time, and it was just a fantastic goal. Totally left Martinez, the Argentinian goalkeeper, for dead. And you just sat there thinking, what on earth has happened here? There are 2-0, and all of a sudden it's 2-2 going into extra time, and you think, what's going to happen at extra time? And again, the teams were going for it. The great thing was both teams were really going for it, which is fantastic to see.
Also for the crowd to watch as well, because
the crowd
they were
fantastic.
Just on their feet, cheering, screaming.
Everything was good. Everything was good. And then they went into the first half of extra time. It was still 0-0, and you thought, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen here? And Argentina just lifted themselves up a little bit. And then in the 108th minute, Messi scored a goal.
But the weird thing is, when he scored it, it was like, was it an actual goal or was it offside?
It was basically one of those goals where one player tries, the goalkeeper saves it, and Lloris saved it, and then Messi sort of took the rebound, kicked it in, but a defender kicked it out, and for a reasonable amount of time, you're sitting there going, did he really score that? No. And then obviously we're all waiting on the referee. The referee then finally points to this centre spot, and everyone, there's relief, and Argentinian fans went crazy.
Oh, I did.
And it was fine. And so you thought, right, Argentina have won the game. And I think there was a lot of love even before the game, that people wanted to see Messi win. And you're thinking, wow, this is good. The only people who are going to be upset now are the French. And what happened again?
Another penalty.
And again, a penalty that didn't need to be given. It's just crazy. I think the defender just panicked, and as a result, there was a penalty. And it's right at the end of the game, 118th minute. And Mbappe, of course, scores a good penalty.
Which makes it go to penalties.
Well, the strange thing is, after the penalty, I don't know if you remember, but there was actually, both teams were still going for it. And then literally in the last couple of minutes of the extra time, Argentina nearly score a goal. And they have this cross come in, and they've brought on this substitute. I think his name's Martinez. He plays for Juventus. And this guy just cannot score.
Oh, I agree.
And he had a free header. Missed by a mile. And you're thinking, what on earth is going on here? What is going on? How could he miss that? And then while you're thinking, how can he miss that? The French launched this fantastic attack. And they've basically can roll the ball into the back of the net. The guy then, I think it's Thuram, or is one of the guys who brought on as a substitute, hits the ball, and you think, right, he's going to score. but Martinez puts his leg out and saves the ball.
Oh, I saw that. That was impressive. That was like a lifesaver for Argentina.
Absolutely. And then soon after that, the whistle goes, and you think, "Blimey, now that
penalties."
My heart was pumping.
Mine as well.
Yeah, it was pumping.
Because you were like, when is this gonna end?
Yeah,
because I don't think neither team were giving each other any space at all. They were just.
That's right. They're really going for it, and it was fantastic. It was a fantastic final.
Yeah, it was actually like watching a game of ping pong, just watching the ball go back and forth, back and forth. That's right.
Yeah, they're really going for it. It's just fantastic. But then there were the penalties, and Mbappe obviously scored. And then, so France are going first. Mbappe scores, and then up comes Messi, and he does the cheekiest penalty I think I've ever seen. He literally just passed it into the net. he sent Lloris the wrong way and just passed the ball into the net with the softest of touches. And you think, how on earth did the cheek of doing that? And then obviously Martinez, the actual goalkeeper for Argentina, became the hero because he saved the penalties that helped them win.
Yeah, also with Martinez, didn't he have this thing where he threw the ball out?
Yeah, that was really funny. So basically, in order to put one of the French strikers, penalty takers off, he picked the ball up and was literally just testing its pressure, which is quite common. A lot of goalkeepers do that. And then instead of giving the ball to the striker, to the penalty taker for Argentina, he threw the ball away. And it was really, really funny. The referee then had to go and get the ball, come back. And it just made the situation even more tense for the French penalty taker. And, of course, the French penalty taker missed his penalty. And Martinez, to be honest, I know some people might say it's bad sportsmanship. I don't think it is. We see a lot of this stuff. A lot of it goes on. And he actually was brilliant. And then, obviously, Argentina won the penalty shootout. And then Messi really got his dream, and I think it's a well-deserved dream, and he wasn't just.
But also, another Argentinian did a cheeky goal as well.
Yeah. I mean, they did, and I think that it's actually quite interesting because Di Maria had been substituted off, and obviously people would have thought he would take a penalty. Alvarez had been substituted off; people thought he would take a penalty. So there's all kinds of stuff going on, but the reality is that. We look back on it and we think, wow, what a great final. And it was a fantastic final.
Oh, yeah,
I think many people consider it to be the greatest.
Yeah,
Mbappe took a lot of plaudits because it's the only second time in history that a hat-trick has been scored in a World Cup final. The first one, of course, being Jeff Hurst in 1966. And then they had the presentations. The strange thing was going into the final, Mbappe and Messi were equal on number of goals for the Golden Boot.
Oh, yeah.
Messi scoring a hat-trick, obviously put him one ahead of Messi.
Mbappe
scored a hat-trick and he won the Golden Boot. And when he collected it,
he didn't want to be
there. He didn't want to be there. And it was really funny because Macron came down and started talking to all the players. He spent a lot of time talking to Mbappe, and you could see from his face this guy does not want to be near there. Macron. It was just like, why is Macron trying to hog the limelight and sort of do all the stuff that obviously it's all for the cameras. But the Argentinians, they were brilliant. I mean, the young player of the tournament, they won.
Fernandez.
Yeah.
Then they won then they also won the Golden Glove.
Yep, they won the Golden Glove.
And also player of the tournament went to Messi.
Yeah. I mean, it's fantastic. And obviously, the thing that everybody's going to compare is Messi and Ronaldo. Ronaldo lost in the quarterfinal. Portugal lost to Morocco. He didn't even congratulate the Moroccans. He just walked off the pitch, which I thought was really bad.
Yeah, but also I can understand why though, because like he was hoping that he would be able to.
Yeah, but he should be so patient. If you lose in such an important game, and it's the first time an African team has got to the semi-finals, not to congratulate them and to literally just walk off in a huff, it's just bad sportsmanship. Part of being a good sportsman is to recognise that the opponents have done well. And he refused to do that.
Yeah, and also they actually showed Ronaldo. I don't know if you remember. They actually showed Ronaldo crying as well.
Yeah, but I think that was personally, I think that was for the cameras. But who knows? I'm sure he was upset. He'll have his record of scoring in 5 separate World Cups. But the thing I would say about that the the one goal that he did score in this World Cup, that it was a penalty, and I think it shouldn't have been given. I think they were very lucky to get that penalty. Messi obviously broke loads of records, and I'm glad. I think the thing about Messi is that although Argentina started off the World Cup quite badly with that loss to Saudi Arabia, they seem to really enjoy the games.
Oh, I agree.
And the fans were fantastic, and I think that the fans ensured that the Argentinian team were just sort of pushed along in the right way.
Yeah, and also coming into this tournament, Argentina had like the longest streak of wins.
Yeah, 37.
37, yeah.
I mean, it was incredible, and I mean, it's just amazing. And you think about it, everyone says, "Oh, they lost to Saudi Arabia," but they won all the rest of their games, and that's impressive. That's really impressive. So, greatest cup final of all time for World Cup. Yeah,
also
definitely.
It's going to be interesting to see what's going to be like a PSG, because Mbappe and Messi are actually teammates.
Yeah, I know. That's going to be and going back to playing in League One of France, where the teams aren't as particularly strong. They're going to sit there and think, God, we've just been playing one of the greatest finals of all time, and now we're having to play these teams who we can beat with our eyes closed. It is going to be weird, but I think that Messi is going to be focused on the Champions League, as will Mbappe. But we'll see. Yeah.
Also, so I don't know if you know this, but today they actually declared, because Argentina won the World Cup, they actually declared Argentina a bank holiday.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I think there was one other funny story to sort of finish off with regarding the World Cup. I actually liked this story, and it was about how Messi beat an egg. I thought that was quite funny. So basically, for those who don't know, Lionel Messi put out an Instagram post about the win, and he had a photograph of himself, obviously lifting the World Cup, and it became the most liked Instagram post in history. Over 66 million people liked it.
I'm not surprised.
It's a huge number of people. But the reason I mentioned the egg is because
the egg was
actually had the highest number of posts, and it was just incredible. It's absolutely amazing that a picture of an egg, was the most liked picture on Instagram.
I mean, when I heard this, I thought, what's so special about this egg?
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's nothing, it's just an ordinary egg.
Yeah, and it is quite funny because the reason the egg is actually this particular picture of the egg, and it's a really plain picture of a plain egg. There's nothing special about it at all. The reason that it is the most, it was the most liked post on Instagram.
Oh, it's because how many likes can this post get?
Yeah, it was because of Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner, sorry. Yeah, so she was she had the most likes. And it was like a lot of people just, instead of disliking her, they started saying, look, let's vote for something that's really just plain. And someone posted an egg, and they started a picture of an egg, and the people just started liking it because they didn't want to like Kylie Jenner.
And the thing is, I don't know if you saw the caption, but it said, how many likes can we get to beat Kylie Jenner's post?
That's right. So it was encouraging people to vote for it in order to get past the egg. And it did, and that's how it got to be the number one post up until yesterday when Lionel Messi beat that. So he's won a lot of plaudits, quite rightly seen as one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah,
Many
and
believe him
also,
to be the greatest player.
I don't know if you saw this, but so obviously the World Cup everybody was watching it. 14.9 million people watched it on BBC and one BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely a phenomenal number of people watched this game. I mean, and there's also the people watching on ITV as well. I mean, I think that it's one of those strange things. I don't think a lot of people expected it to be as popular as it was. And because the way it turned, I think it just brought people in. And that's why so many people have watched this game. And it's left people feeling good.
Oh, I agree.
I don't think anybody feels bad about it.
No, obviously the French feel bad about it because they thought they were going to be double champions.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody really cares about how the French feel because it was such a great game, and the French played their part, which is good. It's important for the French to play their part.
But the thing is, though, when they're doing the medal ceremony, the French team was just taking their medals off, and
because they didn't want to wear a second runners-up medal.
Yeah, it's actually like Argentina were back in Brazil when they just didn't want to be there.
That's right.
And now the tables have turned.
That's right. But again, it was a fantastic series of games. The World Cup itself was Footballing wise, fantastic. Obviously, politics wise, there were lots of issues, but footballing wise, it was a really good World Cup, and I think overall, I know I enjoyed it.
Oh, I loved it, especially the final. Of how you can have a better final than
Yeah,
her.
it really was fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please leave a comment, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.